of the crimes that Bill and Hillary Clinton are responsible for in Haiti?
Haiti was used as a cover for foreign governments to funnel kickbacks of possibly hundreds of millions of dollars through the Clinton Foundation, done in exchange for favors that Hillary was doing for them as Secretary of State.
The most devastating humanitarian crisis that Hillary Clinton faced during her tenure at the State Department was the tragic earthquake in Haiti. 250,000 people were estimated to have died, and in that a natural disaster creates opportunities for rebuilding to take place, but also for self-enrichment to take place. Up to $13 billion from international relief organizations were committed. But who were the beneficiaries of this? Hillary Clinton made visits to Haiti, and Bill Clinton was named co-chair of the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission. So this was clearly a Clinton operation from the beginning. The problem is that the Clintons had their own agenda. And Haitians complained almost immediately that they were shut out of the decision-making process. So you had contracts going to these relief organizations that were also involved with the Clinton Global Initiative. Sometimes the contractors had experience, sometimes they did not. You see that the people that are closest to the Clintons have made out very well from the Haitian earthquake. The rest of the country, the ordinary people of Haiti, not so much.
An outrage there is growing over the largely failed reconstruction effort, despite the hundreds of millions of dollars in aid that has been collected and spent.
And what took place, rather than rebuilding Haiti, was the self-enrichment by friends of the Clintons.
There are new accusations today of pay-to-play scandals rocking the Clinton campaign, an investigation that reveals new details of a possible influence peddling in the aftermath of the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, which we all remember very well. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Martha McCallum.
And I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. The Haiti earthquake, a devastating tragedy, but also a very lucrative opportunity for companies from all over the world to grab the billions that were pledged for rebuilding. Now, according to our next report, Bill and Hillary Clinton were the gatekeepers in Haiti at the time.
A Fox News special on all of this airs tonight, anchored by Bret Baier, and he joins us now. Good morning, Bret.
Martha and Bill, good morning. As we told you, we've been working on this for quite some time, and this is based on this new book, Clinton Cash, by Peter Schweizer. We had the exclusive interview with him. We saw yesterday the Peter here about Kazakhstan and the uranium deal, and you've been talking about that. There are many more pieces of this puzzle that it takes a while to unwind. It spans the globe. This latest piece, as you pointed out, has to do with Haiti.
January 12, 2010, Haiti suffers a devastating 7.0 earthquake. The epicenter is about 15 miles west of its most populous city, Port-au-Prince. More than 200,000 die, and over 100,000 buildings and homes are destroyed. Within 4 days, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton arrives to survey the damage.
I want to assure the people of Haiti that the United States is a friend, a partner, and a supporter.
2 days later, former President Clinton was on the ground.
I hope it will be rebuilt in a much stronger and more sustainable way, and I think the Haitians want that.
Bill Clinton had previously been named UN Special Envoy for Haiti. He and Hillary had close ties with the country, even honeymooning there. Hillary's State Department, working with USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, would oversee America's relief effort. The government of Haiti set up the IHRC, Interim Haiti Recovery Commission, to coordinate. 2 men were named co-chairs of the IHRC Executive Committee, Haitian Prime Minister Jean-Max Bellerive and Bill Clinton himself. The idea was to not just fix things, but improve them. In an interview with Esquire, President Clinton had big plans, saying, quote, "Wouldn't it be great if they became the first wireless nation in the world? They could. I'm telling you, they really could." But it wasn't at all clear that the people of Haiti would be the big winners in the disaster relief gold rush.
Anytime there's a natural disaster anywhere, there is a lot of money potentially to be made in reconstruction contracts and relief contracts, etc.
Peter Schweizer is the author of the new book, Clinton Cash, where he investigates the snarl of money, politics, and personal interest that has come to characterize the Clintons' interactions around the world. Clinton Cash is published by HarperCollins, a sister company to Fox News.
Shortly after the earthquake took place, U.S. Ambassador in Haiti sent a cable to the State Department, the title of which was "The Gold Rush is On." And the memo was about the fact that businessmen and companies were showing up in Haiti trying to seek lucrative contracts.
It was the job of the IHRC to oversee this process and to ensure no one took advantage of the situation. But what if it was part of the problem?
A number of members of the IHRC actually wrote a letter expressing their concerns that they were not involved in the process, that all the decisions were being made by Clinton and Bellarive. In addition, they claimed and argued that the national priorities of Haiti were basically being totally disregarded by the decisions that were being made.
As Haiti dug itself out of the rubble, many projects were initiated, often with U.S. money and a connection to the Clintons. For instance, there was the Haitian Mobile Money Initiative, where a much-needed system was created to help transfer money via cell phones. There was also a plan to raise money by exploiting Haiti's rich mineral wealth.
The Haitian government announces that they're going to offer 2 so-called gold exploitation permits, the first issued in 50 years in Haiti, that would allow for the extraction and gold mining in the country.
Perhaps the most celebrated project of all was Caracol Industrial Park.
What is happening here in Caracol is already having ripple effects that will create jobs and opportunities far beyond this industrial park.
The grand opening of Caracol was a big deal. You had Bill Clinton there, you had Hillary Clinton there, you had Donna Karan, the fashion designer, you had Ben Stiller, you had Sean Penn. Lots of people showed up to say how wonderful this facility was going to be for everybody.
But as all these projects moved forward, questions were raised. The central question, the question which Schweitzer investigated, was about how so many of these deals seemed to come back at some point to the Clintons.
What quickly became apparent to many people was that if you wanted a contract, if you wanted to do business in Haiti, you had to have relationships with the Clinton. That was absolutely key.
The company that cleaned up on the cell phone transfers was Digicel.
In the 6 months running up to September 2012, they took in more than $50 million in revenue in Haiti.
Digicel is run by Irish billionaire Dennis O'Brien, who set up lucrative speeches for Bill Clinton, as well as donating millions of his own money to the Clinton Foundation. And one company that got a rare gold permit was VCS Mining, which didn't actually have much mining experience, but would soon have Hillary Clinton's brother, Tony Rodham, on its board. As for the Caracol Industrial Park, the anchor tenant is a Korean manufacturer, which supplies to major U.S. retailers, who also happen to be big Clinton supporters. And while the State Department promised 65,000 jobs, to date, only 5,000 have been delivered.
In the second part of this piece about Haiti, we sent John Roberts, our own John Roberts, down to Haiti, one end of Haiti to the other, to look at these projects today, where they stand. No one is saying that the Clinton Foundation doesn't do good things around the world, but as you see, the web is pretty tangled with the businesses and the individuals who both set up big lucrative speeches for President Clinton and also donated millions to the Clinton Foundation. One other thing, Martha and Bill, really quickly, there's a lot of talk about smoking gun. The campaign came out and said there's no shred of evidence, and all this talk about the bar being high. Just talking to some lawyers about where the bar is in bribery cases, for example. It goes back to 2 cases, United States versus Anaby, a federal Second Circuit Court case, and United States versus Bruno. And this is what they came to, and this is settled law. Quote, in cases involving government officials, a jury can infer guilt from evidence of benefits received and subsequent favorable treatment. Now, that is the bar. You have to get there. There has to be an investigation. But it's important to point out that this is all serious stuff.
Yeah. As Judge Napolitano said on your show, Senator Menendez has been indicted on what many would see as far less than the web that we're seeing here. But we'll see. Brett, thank you. We're looking forward to tonight. Thanks for being here.
Okay. Sure.
Half years since the devastating earthquake that ravaged Haiti, killing more than 316,000 people, leaving at least 1 million homeless. The country's slowly begun to build, but efforts have been slow in a country that was already one of the poorest in the Western Hemisphere before the earthquake hit. Critics have faulted the efforts of international donors, including the U.S., for failing to deliver on pledges while exerting excessive control of the reconstruction process. Former President Bill Clinton has played a major role in relief efforts, serving as the UN Special Envoy to Haiti and as co-chair of the interim Haiti Recovery Commission. Through his Clinton Foundation, the former president has helped fund a number of projects in Haiti. Well, a new investigative report from The Nation magazine takes a critical look at the Clinton Foundation's first Recovery Commission project in post-earthquake Haiti, the construction of shelters in the city of Léogâne. President Clinton first announced the project in a video on his foundation's website.
Many of you have expressed your interest in the progress being made in Haiti as the nation continues to recover from the earthquake. I wanted to give you just a quick update of some of our ongoing efforts to help the people build back better. The recent cholera outbreak served as a stark reminder of the urgency we face to address the strengthened reconstruction efforts in Haiti. After the outbreak, my foundation responded, allocating $1 million to the government so that we could move supplies down there in a hurry. In addition to the health outbreaks, the hurricane season remains a threat, especially to those still living in camps. My foundation has contributed $1 million there to the construction of emergency storm shelters in Léogâne.
But according to a new expose in The Nation magazine, the shelters turned out to be a series of trailers beset with problems, including mold, shoddy construction, and in one case, worrying levels of formaldehyde. The trailers are also built by the same company, Clayton Homes, that's currently being sued in the U.S. for providing formaldehyde-laced trailers to displaced residents after Hurricane Katrina. A student and teacher at a school housed in the trailers described the conditions there.
The class gets so hot, kids get headaches, and we go to the teacher for him to give us painkillers.
I believe that the Grand Foundation of Clinton, given that we're speaking of a school, Clinton would build latrines for us so that the children can go to the toilet safely, given that we're under the iron rule of cholera. It's not finished. It's not too late. We're waiting for a lot of things from Clinton, and Clinton can do good things for Haiti.
That video clip is courtesy of The Nation magazine and the Canadian Centre for Investigative Reporting. Well, for more, we're joined by the journalists who broke the story, Isabel McDonald and Isabeau Doucette. Their piece, The Shelters That Clinton Built, is in the July 11th issue of The Nation magazine, online at thenation.com. Isabeau, talk more about what you found.
Well, Clinton, this was one of the first projects of the commission, and there's been very little transparency and accountability despite all these buzzwords, you know, sustainable development, community consultation around this commission. It's kind of widely seen as very opaque and labyrinthian. So we thought we'd just pick one project and really investigate it. And since this was one of the first, and it was one of the few that's actually completed, we thought, you know, perfect. And what we found was, I mean, not only are these hurricane-proof shelters, trailers, which cannot be hurricane-proof according to, you know, U.S. standards, but, you know, they were riddled with any number of problems. They're extremely hot, they're leaking, there's mold, you know, there's visibly already starting to rot even though they're freshly installed. So we thought, given that Clinton himself was the one who coined this term, build back better, we're going to build back better Haiti. What does this mean for what's to come of the Commission's projects?
Isabel McDonald, Clayton Homes, can you explain where these trailers came from and the problems they've had after Hurricane Katrina?
Well, we've been requesting documentation of any bidding process from the Clinton Foundation, and we have not gotten documentation. We know that they were built by Clayton Homes, which is currently being sued in the United States for exposing Hurricane Katrina survivors to injurious levels of formaldehyde, which the plaintiffs in this FEMA formaldehyde lawsuit claim came as a direct result of them residing in trailers that Clayton Homes had sold to FEMA. The Clinton Foundation has not answered our questions about any due diligence that was done. We know that trailers are considered a liability in the United States. In the case of a hurricane, FEMA tells Americans to evacuate trailers. And so the real question is, how did Bill Clinton think that this would be acceptable in Haiti to provide these trailers as hurricane shelters, to buy them from a company facing this kind of lawsuit over formaldehyde? And what does it say about the reconstruction efforts in Haiti if the very first project approved by the commission that's supposed to ensure accountability and transparency in Haiti's rebuilding passes this kind of project? And Bill Clinton himself has his hands all over it, and he is the co-chair of this commission that is supposed to ensure that Haiti is built back better.
We're going to have to leave it there, but we'll link to The Nation and your investigation. Isabel McDonald, Isabeau Doucette, thank you very much.
Haitian activists staged a protest outside Hillary Clinton's Manhattan office. The demonstrators claim billions of dollars were stolen through the Haiti Reconstruction Commission headed by Bill Clinton. They also say Haiti was used as a cover for foreign governments to funnel kickbacks of possibly hundreds of millions of dollars through the Clinton Foundation. They say it was done in exchange for favors that Hillary was doing for them as Secretary of State. They say they want their message to get out so Americans won't vote for her if she runs for president.
We are telling the world of the crimes that Bill and Hillary Clinton are responsible for in Haiti, and we are telling the American people that the over 32,000 emails that Hillary Clinton said she deleted have evidence of the crimes they've committed.
The demonstrators staged a rally in front of Bill Clinton's office in Harlem in January.
It's been more than 4 years since a magnitude 7.0 earthquake devastated Haiti. And outrage there is growing over the largely failed reconstruction effort, despite the hundreds of millions of dollars in aid that has been collected and spent by the IHRC, the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission. Now, two prominent lawyers have petitioned a Haitian court demanding an audit of the commission and its manager, former President Bill Clinton. Wall Street Journal columnist Mary Anastasia O'Grady has been following this story and has the details. So, why are Haitians so unhappy?
Well, the earthquake was in January 2010, so we're 4 years into this process. They were promised a lot, and they also know that a heck of a lot of money was spent.
How much? What are we talking about?
Well, you know, the Inter-American Development Bank claims that over 4 years, a total of $3 billion was dispersed to be managed by the Interim Haitian Recovery Commission.
And what do they have to show for it?
Almost nothing.
Really?
It's really a disaster. There were two components. There are two components that were important. One was they were supposed to build housing. Okay, and that was primarily handled by USAID. USAID, after several years of hiring consultants and contractors, reported that they had to increase their budget by 65% and decrease the number of houses that they promised by 85%. That's how far off they were in their studies. They also built, supposedly, an industrial park in the north of the country, a very important industrial park, because part of what's supposed to be going on here is that Haiti would get up on its own 2 feet.
Yeah, not just be a recipient of aid. Yeah, exactly.
And so what do you need when you say, I'm going to open an industrial park? You need roads, you need buildings,
you need water, you need electricity,
you need a port. This is all in chaos right now. They do have a couple of buildings. Reportedly, they're very shoddy construction. The roads are not there. The port, which they spent several years thinking about, now has been completely canceled. They can't do a port there, they found out.
All right. Now, what role has the State Department, and obviously run at the time for 4 years by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, played in this?
The State Department was the major
government
agency in charge of overseeing all of this. And in 2009, remember that Bill Clinton was named the UN Special Envoy to Haiti.
Sure.
And from that time on, when you called the State Department and you had interests in either investment or some kind of business, you were referred to the Clinton Foundation. And subsequently, after the earthquake, basically the State Department took over everything, and Bill Clinton was the go-to guy for all of the transactions.
And you reported a fascinating detail about Hillary Clinton's chief of staff at the State Department and former White House lawyer in the Clinton years, Cheryl Mills.
Yes, well, that's the talk of Haiti, because everybody knows that Cheryl Mills went to Haiti more than 30 times in 4 years, which is a heck of a lot to go to one country when you're the chief of staff for the Secretary of State.
What? Go ahead. You finish.
Well, she was basically put in charge of the industrial park in the north of the country, which is a colossal failure.
What response did you get from the Clinton Foundation and Bill Clinton when you called?
Well, they did not comment. They did not come back. But since then, you know, we've gotten a lot of support for the Clintons. All of the letters are written in a very similar way, saying that the Clintons are really not to blame here, that there were lots of problems, but Bill Clinton, what did he have to do with it? And that I find very strange, because he was the point person in Haiti for the last 4 years.
All right, this is fascinating stuff, Dan. Big picture quickly. How much will this affect Hillary Clinton's campaign if she runs?
It's a perfect example of the sorts of problems Hillary will have, because the Clintons together are just questions of conflicts of interest get raised constantly. That does not mean they are doing things illegal or wrong, but they are political problems. And I think it's going to be endless landmines for Hillary the whole time she's trying to run for president with her husband.
Their governing record ought to be fair.
There is a lively debate questioning what Hillary Clinton really stands for. Perhaps the Caribbean island of Haiti can provide some insight. The Democratic presidential candidate, whose husband chairs the Clinton Foundation, has recently been advocating for a minimum wage increase in the United States. However, a WikiLeaks report reveals that back in 2008-2009, when she held the post of Secretary of State, she opposed minimum wage increases in Haiti. The wage hike could have been an important step forward for a country with one of the highest rates of poverty and inequality in the Western Hemisphere. Instead, under Clinton's guidance, the State Department colluded with foreign corporations benefiting from sweatshop labor to pressure the Haitian government to veto a wage increase approved unanimously in the country's parliament. Now, just months later, in January 2010, Haiti was hit by a devastating earthquake, resulting in the deaths of roughly 200,000 people. Well, the Clinton Foundation was responsible for channeling some $6 billion meant to assist the survivors on the island. So where did the money go? Well, the Clintons' first act was to provide what they claimed were hurricane-proof emergency trailers, which they say could also have been used to school the island's children. Didn't turn out too well. The trailers were laced with a cancer-causing chemical, formaldehyde, which gave the students and teachers headaches and allergic reactions. And it turns out that the trailers were distributed by Clayton Homes. That's a company being sued in the US for providing the same type of shoddy trailers after Hurricane Katrina. They're also a past campaign contributor of Hillary Clinton herself. So what does Clinton stand for? We'll let you decide.
Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Nadia Kanji in Baltimore. A Haitian special committee on Monday said there was a high level of fraud in Haiti's presidential elections last October, enough even to recommend nullifying the results. The committee found that there were 628,000 zombie votes, or untraceable votes. The election was also backed by over $33 million in U.S. funding. Our next guest, Nicholas Berry Shaw, has been following the issue, and more specifically the role the U.S. and Hillary Clinton has played in the debacle. He says she triggered massive political unrest by throwing her weight behind former President Michel Martelly in the 2010 election, who stepped down earlier this year and whom many felt was corrupt. Nicholas is a Haiti solidarity activist from Montreal. He just wrote an article for Jacobin titled "Clinton's Long Shadow: Hillary Clinton May Never Be Called to Account for Her Role in Haiti's Ongoing Political Crisis." Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Thanks for having me on, Nadia.
The Verification Commission essentially reveals that the U.S. funded a fraudulent election. Can you give us an idea of what the current situation is on the ground in Haiti and how the U.S. is responding to the results of the Verification Committee?
You know, this is kind of the result that everyone was expecting in Haiti. Everyone was hoping for in any case. You know, it confirms what many different Haitian observer groups demonstrated. It confirms what, you know, we saw when I was down there with a group of international observers for the October 25th election, that, you know, there was a huge number of votes being cast using these kind of political party accreditation cards, and that they really kind of swamped the results, and that the results were not credible. So the reaction has been I think, favorable from most of the parties except for those close to President Michel Martelly. And so former President Michel Martelly and his party, Parti Calais Haïtien, has not, obviously been very enthusiastic about the commission from the beginning. They're the party that's suspected of having organized most of the fraud, and they were the ones who had their candidate Jovenel Moïse in first place in the presidential election, which the commission is now recommended to be rerun. So they're obviously unhappy, and they're seeking in every way to discredit the election. As for the U.S., since the interim authorities were sworn in February, the U.S. and the other major aid donors to Haiti have cut off all non-humanitarian aid to the interim government. And the country was already in a kind of financial and budgetary crisis before that because of the mismanagement and corruption of the Martelly regime. So, it's just kind of adding to the pressure on the government to solve the elections crisis quickly and in a way that will please the U.S. So this isn't over by any stretch of the imagination.
Can you tell me about Clinton's role more specifically in Haiti?
Yeah, she was heavily involved in Haiti actually before the earthquake. Haiti was made kind of a centerpiece of the State Department's foreign policy after she took over in 2009. And that kind of role was really amplified after the earthquake and with the huge internationally funded reconstruction effort. In particular, she played a key role in getting Michel Martelly elected in 2011. In the 2010-2011 elections, there were, again, accusations of fraud. There were very low turnout. And according to the contested official results, Martelly had finished in third place. And so he wasn't going to the runoff. But Clinton personally intervened. She flew down to Haiti in the midst of the Arab Spring in January 2011. She made a trip to Haiti and put an enormous amount of pressure on then President Préval to change the election results, to remove his candidate from the race and put in Martelly, because she liked, the kind of program he was offering, this kind of extremely pro-business, pro-foreign investment program that he was pushing. And Préval eventually relented under enormous pressure from the U.S. And Martelly, in the second round, became president. And all throughout his term, he was supported just extremely, extremely closely by the U.S. ambassador. First Kenneth Merton and then Pam White, who was appointed by, both of whom were appointed by Hillary Clinton. So his regime really was a total creation of Hillary Clinton.
You mentioned in your article that Clinton is to blame for what you call Martelly's disastrous presidency. But after the earthquake in 2010, the Clinton Foundation raised $30 million for reconstruction projects, and she was involved in industrial projects that helped create jobs for a lot of Haitians. Some would say she supported Martelly's pro-business outlook so that she could work on these reconstruction efforts. What are your thoughts on that?
One of the things that Hillary Clinton did with regards to Haiti while she was Secretary of State was she initiated an attempt to block a raise of the minimum wage for Haitian workers in 2009. So the minimum wage was going to be raised from a paltry 26 cents an hour to, the princely sum of 61 cents an hour. And because this didn't fit with the kind of economic development policies that Hillary Clinton at state was pushing for Haiti, she had her ambassador oppose this move. And so they teamed up with the Haitian economic elite and with foreign multinationals that were working in Haiti, Hanesbrand, Levi's, and others who had subcontracting arrangements in Haiti. And they successfully fought this minimum wage increase. And that's something Bernie Sanders during this campaign he made a short kind of press release on his website about this, but the whole issue of Hillary's experience or foreign policy experience as it manifested in Haiti really hasn't been picked up by the Sanders campaign, I think as much as it should, because her record is really quite appalling when you look at it closely. And it's something that the Trump campaign is actually starting to do. So recently at a Trump rally, one of his campaign advisors read kind of chapter and verse from this new book that just came out called Clinton Cash, written by a Republican journalist named Peter Schweitzer. And there's a large section in that book about how people close to the Clinton family, including Hillary's own brother, Tony Rodham, have benefited from the reconstruction efforts and benefited from U.S. policy in Haiti. And he said, we're gonna keep bringing up this issue until the media covers it. And it's obviously, they see the value in mining Hillary's misadventures in Haiti for political gain. I don't think the Trump campaign cares a whit about Haiti, but they understand that what she did there was really quite dubious.
Haiti's economy right now is actually suffering quite a bit at the moment, with inflation at its highest level in years. Do you think the result of the Electoral Verification Committee could lead to a more representative government that can help address urgent issues that Haitian people are facing?
That's certainly what we hope to see. It's going to be very difficult. The Electoral Commission has called for the rerunning of the presidential race, which is positive. But on the other hand, it didn't say anything about the legislative races, the Senate and the Chamber of Deputies races, which were equally, if not more, flawed, and they were happening at the same time as the presidential race. So in those places, President Martelly has a very strong foothold. He almost has a majority in both the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate. So it remains to be seen, whether the report will have the impact of rerunning those election races as well. And I think that would be the key to Haiti having the beginnings of responsible government, of a responsive political leadership, which will actually take seriously the needs of the vast majority and not just a handful of foreign investors and the elite.
All right, Nicholas, thank you so much for your analysis on Haiti.
Right, thanks, Nadia.
And thank you for joining us on the Real News Network.
Yeah, okay. Now, you still believe that the Hillary Clinton email and the Clinton Foundation, will affect the election. Now, we had a discussion with Geraldo about it last week. Roll the tape.
A man like you, a reporter with the chops that you have, show me one example where there has really been pay for play. In other words, show me one example where somebody took money, one of these Clintons took money, and as a result of taking that money, they influenced some legislation or they directed the country in a place where the money giver wanted them to go. When you can prove that, then I'll be concerned.
It's the appearance.
Just like appearance.
Okay, so you say there is?
Oh, sure, there are lots of them. And let's just take one, on which a lot of excellent work was done by Bret Baier, who talked about this in a special report. The Washington Free Beacon, Peter Schweitzer had done some work on this. This involved Haiti, and Dennis O'Brien, who is the largest Irish contributor to the Clinton Foundation, between $10 and $25 million. Terrible earthquake in Haiti, January 2010. One of the two cell phone operators in the country is Dennis O'Brien. Shortly after the earthquake, the USAID and the Gates Foundation say that they will give the two cell phone companies in Haiti $10 million with some bonuses, paid out on how many people they get signed up for it, to begin doing mobile banking in the country. And most of the money goes to Digicel, owned by Dennis O'Brien. Shortly thereafter, the USAID Food for Peace program sets up a special deal where on the cell phones, they will literally give people free cell phones and Digicel service, and they can then access food shipments on Food for Peace program in Haiti using that. Shortly thereafter, O'Brien begins to help Bill Clinton get speeches, one in Jamaica, 3 in Ireland. He's paid for the one in Jamaica. He's flown on Dennis O'Brien's plane to Ireland. Unclear if he gets paid for the others. O'Brien's people say, quote, Clinton was not personally compensated for the speeches, which sounds sort of fishy. Was contributions given to somebody? Shortly thereafter, the USAID begins a second program with Digicel, in which they begin to partner on rebuilding schools in Haiti. Now, in the news releases, they mention the amount of money that USAID is coming up with, but there's no mention of how much money Digicel is coming up with. But it gives them goodwill and a brand awareness around the country. During this period of time as well, Clinton is put on has made co-chairman of the official Haitian government reconstruction and recovery commission.
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Right.
He is co-chairman of this group.
Right.
By 2012, the National Lottery is now on Digicel's phones. You can play the national lottery with a slice of that going to Digicel. By 2014, he has made so much money that in April, Dennis O'Brien buys out his competitor, and by October folds the company up and is the only cell phone provider in the entire country. And of Haiti. And during that year, he then gives somewhere between $10 and $25 million to Clinton Foundation. We don't know the specific amount. And he pays himself $650 million in dividends because he personally owns this company and it's privately held.
I got to wrap it up, but it's pretty convoluted. I mean, you'd have to have the FBI in this to just sort it all out.
But it's all on the public record, articles. By the end of your program, I'll have them all up on my website. People can go make their own judgments about whether there's an appearance of a conflict of interest.